Hey, well, hello, fraud and audit, friends and family. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Froster. Listen. Think about the last time you saw someone flexing on social media. Maybe it was a stack of cash. I don't mean flexing muscles, right? Maybe it was a stack of cash. Maybe it was a private jet, or maybe it was just a really expensive watch. But when we see it, we all roll our eyes, right? It feels a little desperate. But in the digital age, a flex is more than just a brag, it's a data point. Most of us are just risking our reputations when we post a photo of a fancy dinner. But for some people, that 10-second video, it isn't just a flex, it's a GPS coordinate for federal disaster. So, my question for you today is have you ever flexed on social media? And by the way, how much would you have to be sitting on to feel so untouchable that you taunt the very people who have the power to put you in a cage? Because today we're going to talk about a man who decided to win an internet argument by showing off the keys to the government's own vault. Now, if that isn't an opening for you, then you probably shouldn't stick around because, well, I say this every week. Today, this thing is crazy. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Friday Fraudster Podcast. Join them as they discuss sad, funny, and sometimes disturbing fraud stories. Be sure to catch past episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or go to www.fridayfraudster.com.
All right. Hey, question for you all. Have you ever flexed anything on social media? You know, you ever tried to show off on social media? Or do you know anyone who constantly showing off on social media? Knowing personally, not a, internet celebrity or anything like that. Do you know anyone personally who shows off a lot on social media? And what do you think about that? I'll get into that. Let me just bring her up. She's back, but nobody else is back with us.
No, they must have heard I was coming back and decided to cop out, right?
That's exactly what it was.
Don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Okay. So, do you know of anyone, or have you ever, quote unquote, flexed on social media, Christine? Have you ever?
When I bought my new car, which it wasn't even new, it was already 4 years old, but I think it was more excitement. Otherwise, the stuff that I really do flex on is like my talented children, because they can do music stuff and I can't, but not, I don't know. I can't say no, because I know like I've been to like a 5-star Michelin restaurant and I've done that, but I haven't been like, hey, look at this wad of cash and had just like money all over my bed and taking pictures.
Which that's a thing though, right? Like what?
Right. Like that's almost weird because like I sit here and go, I think we all brag to some extent, but I think the research and stuff, like especially when we talk about these stories, we see a lot of that. I don't know. I've never done it to that extreme. I don't know. Have you? What do you flex online about?
Nothing. I mean, all I talk about online is auditing, so that's not a flex. If anything, that's anti-flexing, right? So look, yeah. Mark says, good afternoon. I trust you all are having a fabulous Friday. Mark, every Friday's fabulous, right? And I think this is Carol saying happy Friday the 13th. By the way, anybody superstitious? I am not superstitious. Don't believe in it. Don't care about it. We're all good. I die. Heather says hello from Jacksonville, Florida. Now, Heather is saying she doesn't flex on social media. I do very little except promote animal welfare. So there you go. Yeah, because Heather, you have cats, right? So Kimberly is here. Kimberly says happy Friday. She didn't say the 13th.
I didn't even realize it was Friday the 13th until.
Yeah. See, well, you shouldn't. Yeah. Look, Heather is saying I only flex on LinkedIn. I don't flex. What am I flexing? I have
Your
absolutely
successes. Wasn't bad.
I have absolutely nothing to flex. But did you well, you're right though, Christine. We have talked about a lot of people that have gotten caught committing fraud because they have shown off the things that they've stolen on social media. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it brings me back. I know I was gone last week and I was talking to a coworker, and there was a certain city that we were talking about, and we brought it up like, if you live in that city, like you have to keep up with the Joneses. And it is all about showing off. So yeah, I could understand that once you get into a certain loop or group of friends, or you start spending money, is it easier to just keep riding that tidal wave of being I'm great and got all this stuff?
I guess so. Now, regarding Friday the 13th, Matthew is saying should be all good if not caught in the fraud, right? Yeah, should be all
Yeah,
good. Alaba saying, thank God it's Friday with RB. Hey, man.
I agree.
Okay. So check this out. Talking about flexing on social media. Have you ever heard of the money spread?
No.
Ooh.
Or is that what I
Okay.
was talking about? Like a bedspread. Get it?
It
I
is
know.
not a bedspread. Let me show you what I'm talking about, though. It's this thing, and they've been doing it for a few years now, but it's this thing where people who have a lot of money, wink, wink, nod, nod, they spread it out on social media to show you how much money they have. Check this out. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but check him out. He's spreading his money, letting everybody know when to come and rob him and how much they might get if they actually rob him. That is the money spread. And it's a thing.
Do you want to know what I want to do? Like, I'm sitting here going, oh, I want to freeze frame it and zoom in and make sure it's not like the motion picture money. Because that stuff looks real.
Doesn't it? And for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, money that they use in movies, it looks real, but then on the back it says not legal tender and something else, but it looks extremely real. Boy, it looks real. But this is a real thing. Like, this is what people do. They money spread, and I just think that that's crazy because I don't want people to know what I have. Well, I don't have anything. So this is my kind of money spread right here, Christine. I want you to show you. This is mine right here. This is me. This is all ones.
I just happen to have $3 on my desk.
Oh.
I mean, they know if they deposited it at their local credit union, they'd be earning interest on that, right?
Well, I mean, but I think the bigger point is they can't deposit it at their local
that's true.
credit union. You
know?
Yeah. I think the money was ill-gotten through some nefarious means, and that's
Just remember, if you're going to get it illicitly, at least pay taxes on it. It'll reduce your charges.
Well, and that's the funny part. Like, how do you do that? Do you add a line to your tax form that says paying taxes on fraud money? Or
I mean, could you issue yourself a 1099 as miscellaneous income?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh.
I'd ask a tax professional, but I do not want myself to be flagged on anything. And why would I need to know?
So now this is interesting though, because here's why this is interesting. So we live in a proof of work kind of culture, right? If you don't show it, then you didn't do it and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But in the world of high stakes crime, the best work is work that kind of stays invisible. Wouldn't you agree? You don't
Correct. You don't want it to be, you want it to be known, but you don't want it to be known.
Yeah. Because, well, the moment you need the world to know how smart you are or how rich you are, that's the moment you stop being a mastermind and you start being a target. So let's talk about today's story. Let's talk about it. So in today's story, it isn't about like a hack or anything like that. No cybersecurity incident. But what it is about is $47 $46 million. A $46 million mistake, I think, born out of pure, unadulterated ego. I mean, like, we're going from a heated argument on a messaging app to a tropical island where, well, French special forces were waiting to turn somebody's flex and power move into a life sentence. So let's talk about it. The story is of John Dahita. I'm probably saying it wrong. He was known as Lick on social media, and he had the flex that broke the US government's crypto vault. Let's just say that. So picture this. It's March 4th, 2026. And see, that was just a few days ago, right? And you're on an island. You're on St. Martin Island. It's a real nice island. You're sitting by a luxury pool. The sun is out and you're feeling pretty good. You got a briefcase full of cash, and you also have some hardware wallets, crypto wallets. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. You got hardware wallets worth tens of millions of dollars. And you think you've outrun the entire world. Unfortunately, you decided to go to Telegram, because on Telegram, you're a god. Again, people call you Lick. I don't know why. On Telegram. And you've spent the last year taunting investigators. Now, while you're taunting investigators, all of a sudden, your door gets kicked in. And it's not just a local cop. Again, like I said, it's a special forces unit. And they got tired of seeing your bragging, and they finally figured out what you were doing. But again, your crime was to the tune of $46 million, and you got taken down because you couldn't stay off of social media. Now, I think if I had $46 million, I could stay my butt off of social media. What do you think?
I think I could. I think I'd be using it to find out if they're trying to find me. Like, I would be doing nothing. But I also look at it like, is it lonely? Like, because did he bring anybody with him? Like, if you stole $46 million and had to just go to a country, let's say no extradition from wherever you stole it and everything else, how lonely would you be? Or, well, I guess you could probably make friends real fast. But
I would not be lonely at all. For $46 million, I could buy a friend. I'm just saying. Look, as a matter of fact, for $46 million, I don't need any friends. I could live alone. I would be okay.
Yeah, I would stay off of, I would stay off. I would not be bragging about it.
So why do criminals do? Never mind. This is not a psychological episode, but seriously, you have to wonder, why do they do it? And Heather just hit it. I think, these people have ego issues.
Could it also be the rush? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just the thrill of getting away with it. And as time passes by, is that feeling diminishing? So it's your way of trying to get that kick out of it.
That's possible. I don't get it, but maybe if I got $46 million, maybe somewhere along the lines, my ego would change and I would actually want to show off that money. No, heck no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Matthew's got it right. Matthew said, drop off the grid. Mark says, narcissistic much, right?
I mean, yeah.
You know what? I've never heard this before. Listen to what Jay said. I'm going to steal this, Jay. Jay said, all friends want is care, attention, support, and honesty. Cash. Care, attention, support, and honesty. Now, Jay,
Real
with 46...
Right. Friends.
But Jay, if I had $46 million, would you give me some cash, Jay?
I'd give you some, Robert.
But seriously, I don't get it. But let's get into it here. Let's back up just a little bit to understand how we got to a Caribbean raid. Okay. In order to do that, we've got to talk about U.S. Marshals Services. These are the guys who hunt fugitives. They are the ones who seize the Lambos and the mansions from the drug lords and all that other good stuff. And lately, they have been seizing a whole lot of Bitcoin, including assets from a massive 2016 Bitfinex hack.
Okay.
But here's the problem. So the US government, usually when they seize assets, they store them in warehouses and stuff like that. So they're great at catching people, but they are surprisingly bad at managing digital keys that come with cryptocurrency. And so they don't have a government vault app that they can put the crypto in. So they have to rely on external contractors. So here's what they did. In 2024, they awarded a $4 million contract to a small Virginia IT firm to essentially guard the vault, guard the crypto vault. And that's where the keys kind of start to go missing. Let me explain. So the contractor, it was called Command Services and Support, CMDSS. And the president of the company was a man named Dean. And his job was to manage class 2 through class 4 seized crypto. So let's talk about what that is for a minute, right? Because I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. So crypto comes in different classes. Class 1 are like your blue chips. So that's mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum, the big players. These are highly liquid and easy to store in standard government controlled cold wallets, offline wallets. Now, the marshals usually handle those themselves, but classes 2 through 4, oh, that's a different thing altogether. Those are complex assets, and that's what they hired this firm to do. So, for example, class 2 is like altcoins. Okay, class 3 are like stable coins, those tied to the US dollar or things like that. Like Tether would be a class 3 coin. And then class 4 is stuff I don't even want to talk about. It's the Wild Wild West. Like literally the Wild Wild West. Okay, so now with that out of the way, I think I lost my train of thought. Okay, so with that out of the way, again, the government didn't know how to store these, so they hired a third-party firm. The guy who owned the firm, he was trying to do the job the right way. Well, kind of. He had a few control weaknesses here or there. But oh boy, his 25-year-old son, John, they're alleging that between 2024 and 2026, roughly $46 million started leaking out of government-controlled wallets. And it wasn't a sophisticated hack from the outside. It was, well, the son. Apparently, he abused his father's privileged access to move millions of dollars. So what do you think about that?
Well, first question, how does our government, so we paid this company $4 million to house this stuff, right?
Yep.
Don't know how much it would cost, but why didn't we use that $4 million to create our own structure on handling this stuff for the U.S. Marshals?
Yeah. So I asked myself that question, and here's the only thing I could think of. In order to handle this specific type of transaction, because all Bitcoin is a transaction onto the blockchain ledger, right? There's a lot of infrastructure you have to have in place. So for example, there's nobody like standing guard in front of a vault with a gun. It's about secret management. So you have a public key and a private key and all that other good stuff. So whoever has the private key, which is just a long string of numbers or letters, or numbers and or letters, or the seed phrase, which is random words, 12 to 24 words, that's your irreversible control over the money. And so if you have all that, you are the key owner. Now, here's where it gets real interesting. So when the government guards crypto through a contractor, here's what's supposed to happen. There's supposed to be a multiple level of control. So to move money, you need, say, for example, 3 out of 5 people to sign off.
Yep.
So now you also need what's called air gap storage. And so what an air gap is a device that has never, ever touched the internet. So you're storing it in an air gapped environment. And so the last thing you need is what's called whitelisting. So the guard is only supposed to move the money to a specified and pre-approved government address that's been whitelisted. Now, here's what the son allegedly did. So obviously he didn't guard the vault. He was more like the janitor who copied keys to the vault and stole the money. So it was alleged that they were using a manual Excel spreadsheet to track billions of dollars. And what he did was he realized that if he siphoned off a few $1,000,000 here and there, the spreadsheet wouldn't automatically update to show the loss. So it sounds like there was some formula integrity errors in the spreadsheet is what I'm guessing, but I'm not 100% sure about that one. But based on everything I read, that's what it leads me to believe.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that was, sorry, I kind of took us in a different direction. That was going to be my question, was if we're spending all this money for a vendor and we know that there's an increase of us obtaining these assets because of it, why wouldn't we invest in a platform and not spend that money? But just
and so my guess is I think it may be too expensive or it may be too specialized, because you do realize the government contracts a lot of stuff out, right? Yeah. And so I think to that extent, it is a way of spurring the economy. Because if you think about it, if the government does it, they have to have the knowledge, they have to employ the people. But if they give the money through a contractor, that contractor is going to create jobs, which creates additional tax-paying citizens. So if the government does it itself, yeah, I mean, besides, when's the last time you've been to like the DMV?
I'm probably not the person to ask because my daughter just got her driver's license not that long ago.
Well, my point was, are we the model of efficiency there? You know?
True. Yes, true. I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the question becomes, how do you catch a guy that holds the keys to this vault, though? And here's a spoiler alert. You just wait for him to talk, because again, in January of this year, he gets into a band for band dispute on Telegram. And so again, for those who don't know what that is, it's kind of a digital pissing contest. Like I just showed you, that whole money spread. And so he was going band for band, like a band is what, $1,000 or whatever. And so if you have 10 bands and you have $10,000. And so he was going band for band with somebody. They were battling it out, showing how much money they had.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now. You're just asking for it. I mean, especially considering his dad's in a high position, right? So it's not, his dad's name's out there. If you search his dad's name, you know, you're going to know where he works, or something along those lines. So what is it? Isn't it like thieves are all, there's no such thing as a smart thief? I'm totally hacking that. No such thing as a smart criminal.
Yeah, something like that. Hey, but listen though, this band for band argument got real heated because they didn't pull out cash. This is what he did in order to win the argument.
You got receipts, huh?
He shared his screen, Christine. Check this out. And he starts moving millions of dollars in real time, showing off like $2 million here, $6 million there. It's alleged that he moved about $6 million of Ethereum live on camera.
Okay. I guess that's bold.
That's just dumb.
Well, it is. Because, like, let's say this was his real money. Like, somebody can come and kidnap you, dude. Like, they'll find out. For that kind of money, people will find out where you live. They will follow you.
Oh, for sure. Heather says she hasn't been to the DMV in a while. You renew online. Yeah, I renew online too. It's just easier.
I think our DMV charges us if we physically go in to renew our tags.
Let me tell you. Okay, so speaking of DMV, listen, this is what happened to me 2 years ago. I renewed online and never ever got it in the mail. It never came. So I go back to the online website and I try to, get another one, a replacement.
Mhm.
They tell me you can't get a replacement online. You actually have to come in and pay $2 to get a replacement one online in person.
Okay.
Yeah, this dumbest thing I've ever seen. Okay, but now, okay. When you hear about Bitcoin, a lot of people want to start using Bitcoin because supposedly it's secure and it's anonymous, right? Isn't that what you've heard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what we all heard. Well, everything sits on the blockchain ledger. And in theory, it can be tracked. It's just very difficult. So here's what happened. One of the world's most famous anonymous blockchain sleuths, he saw the recording of this Telegram post and he traced the on-chain movement and realized that the money isn't just rich kid money. He realized it was coming from the wallets that were seized by the federal government. So he publicly exposed this guy on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. And so now the race was on because the federal government understood that their money was now missing. And so the race is on to try and find out where this guy is, who has it, and why he has it. Crazy, isn't it?
It is. So why did he not just go to a country that had no extradition?
I mean, because he's the same dumbass that stole crypto from the federal government, like.
And then did a live streaming of where he was transferring it, which allowed somebody to essentially directly observe his wallet addresses, transaction hashes, and consolidation behavior to link evidence to where he was stealing it from.
Isn't it crazy?
That would be my first question I'd be asking Google is where can I move to not be extradited back to the United States?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing. Does it never ring in your head that I'm 25 years old? There's no way that anyone's going to believe that I have $6 million in Ethereum and I have no other
source of income?
Yeah. Thank you. I was just went blank here for a minute.
Like I don't work.
Here's the thing that got me though. Poor dad.
Yeah.
Because dad had a legitimate business that will now probably never be able to work with the federal government again. Here's where it gets even more interesting. In order for him to have the access that he had, his dad must have been trying to teach him the business.
I would guess so. Or, I mean, think about how many individuals, like I work from home every once in a while. I have my own office, everything else out of habit. If I get up from my computer, no matter what, it's Control, Alt, Delete, Enter to lock my computer.
Yeah.
But how many individuals feel comfortable walking away in their home office, leaving things on their computer exposed? Could that have opened up his son to gain access in certain things?
You would think, but I think you would still have to know a whole lot more in order to do what he did. So now you've ruined your father's life at this point. You've also ruined yours and you've tarnished the legacy for that family.
Yeah, I think I was reading that the dad's company essentially website went private, all online things to deal with his father have been shut down. Like it is cut off.
And everything that I'm reading is showing or saying so far, well, let me rephrase that. Nothing that I've read has said that the father was actively involved.
Correct. I haven't seen anything either.
So now this knucklehead has actually ruined it. So let's talk about this though. Let's talk about this. He fled to the Caribbean, but the FBI and the French intelligence agency, they were already tracking the hardware. So again, on March the 4th at night, they swooped in. And again, it was a luxury villa in St. Martin. Here's what they found. They found John in a metal briefcase full of hundreds. They found multiple hardware wallets. They found the hard drives containing the government's stolen keys. And now here's the irony though. He spent all that energy trying to look untouchable online, but he was captured in a joint operation that involved some of the most elite tactical soldiers on the planet. It's insane.
That is. The best of the best were coming after you, and it didn't take them long.
Yep.
It's kind of scary. Like, ooh, just showing up, guns everywhere. He's for 25 years old, I'm sitting here and going, you have to be an extremely smart individual to do this.
Nah, not this one.
I mean, some of the decisions he made weren't smart, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, not any 25-year-old would be able to rip off the government $43 million. So there has to be some knowledge there. Or do you think it was just the controls were that loose at that company?
Yeah. This one is as simple as they were supposed to be watching the hen house. The son had the keys to the hen house. I mean, it really is as simple as that. Here's where it gets even more interesting, though. I mentioned the spreadsheet earlier. Let me put that into context because this part should really make your jaw drop. The U.S. Marshals currently manage over $22 billion in seized assets, and yet an audit from the Office of Inspector General, because we're auditors here, right? Some of us found that the agency, the U.S. Marshals Office, was largely tracking this money on manual Excel worksheets. So now, because of that lack of oversight, a contractor's son had more control over the U.S. government's crypto stockpile than the actual government did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just like, why didn't? And you're gonna have to help me because I'm not, and I know I'm probably gonna sound so stupid because I'm not extremely well versed. I understand Bitcoin. I'm not too much in the other ones. So if this company, like, I almost think of it like a safe deposit box, right? You need the two keys. You need the one key and then the second key. Why wasn't the government holding on to that second key rather than having this company hold it? That would have been a good control, would it have not?
Yeah, well, and it's my understanding they had full control. And like I said earlier, there was a white list of companies that they could transfer money to. So yeah, to your point, it sounds like they had full control to transfer the money.
Would a SOC audit have caught that?
Nah. I mean, maybe a SOC audit. Well, let's think about this.
Because the SOC, depending on which one, would do internal controls, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but a SOC audit is usually going to be over the software.
The software. That's
yeah. So let me think about this. That's a good question.
And I know, I understand it's a gray area, but I'm like, okay, it's specific IT controls. If you really think about it, like, I'm just sitting here like, does our government do any type of vendor due diligence requirements depending upon what they're housing on our behalf, the services that they're being performed? Like,
now the due diligence, I can tell you, they probably just put out a request for proposal or request for a quote, and then they got a bunch in and they looked through the criteria and said, oh, this person meets our needs, and then awarded the contract. Government contracting is well, that's about as complex as it gets.
I just find it crazy. We have a government agency that tells us how we should do vendor due diligence, but we don't have a government that does proper vendor due diligence. The FFIEC
Yeah.
pushes that stuff out. Like, we've got government agencies that guide a lot of us industries on what we should do to make sure we're safeguarding stuff. But
Okay. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my notes because you did ask a really, really good question. Okay. So he did have the key, but he also had the physical devices. He had the physical hardware devices. And so having the hardware device as well as the key, he was just able to bypass that control.
Well, because that's some of the pictures they look like thumb drives.
Oh yeah. No, that is exactly what they look like. It's just a regular drive.
The tokenizations. But even like when I'm looking at those, some of those, the tokenization require a thumbprint. Like, whose thumbprint is on that?
Yeah, well, it depends on if you stored it on that type of drive. Yeah.
Like
But sometimes it's a passcode, a password. Sometimes it's a thumbprint. Yeah. Heather is saying that's scary. And Shri is here. Shri says hey to everyone.
Hey.
And yeah, Heather's saying maybe if you're doing a walkthrough, you might be able to find it. But yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot of hundreds sitting in that briefcase. It makes me wonder if they propped them up in different ways to make it look a lot more than what it actually was. Because that thing ain't closing with the way those hundreds are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like somebody dumped it out and then just like tossed it back in and we're like, okay, that looks good. Let's take a picture.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm looking for it. I can't find. I got so many tabs open. I was trying to find some of the photos, but oh well.
Here, let me send you this. This will probably help if I sent you the full link.
Yeah, that's
not working. Yeah, I see the one where it's got the pictures of him transferring 2.2 million, 7.6 million.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't see the link.
I put it in the private chat, but it's not linking.
I see.
Let me see if this will work. Nope. It's only want to give you the title of the.
Oh, no, that's weird. Very weird. Because I'm sure everybody else. Oh, here's one. Okay. I've got one. Let's see here. Key takeaways. Here we go.
Right. I feel like I read somewhere that they think it might actually be more than the 46 million.
It's kind of embarrassing, right? But there is the suitcase with all the money, and there he is. Let's see if we can.
So would they just have to, because it says that they're looking to return the stolen funds? Well, end up going back to the U.S. Marshals, of course. But then would they just look at the history transactions of that blockchain and the transfers to find out who the rightful owner was?
Well, I mean, right now, yeah, the owner is the U.S. So they can trace it because that's what the guy who found him did. He traced it. So I think all's well that ends well. I don't think he was smart enough to split it up and conceal it and hide some of it for later. But look at that. Oh, wow. There are all the drives there with all the money.
Yeah, so those YubiKeys, the ones that have like the little gold circle in the center with the Y, those should be ones you put it into your computer. When it comes for your login, it takes your thumbprint.
Yeah, yeah. So, and let's see. Hold on. Here's a screen print of him transferring some of the money. There he is on Telegram, and there's the $7.6 million transfer right here on the bottom. Here's 2.28 right here on the top.
It's crazy.
Let's see. What else do we have? I think that's it. This is insane. It's just really
He's
insane.
so young. He doesn't even look 25.
That's the thing, though. I'm going back to how I started this. Why do we feel the need to flex on social media? I just, it's very strange. Why do we feel the need to flex on social media?
Well, it's like Mark was saying, is there a narcissistic tendency? Heather was talking about the ego issues. Sometimes I wonder if people do it so they can feel important. There's got to be something missing for you to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I think you hit it though, the feeling important, because I'll be honest. You know how when you're a kid and people always ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And for a lot of people, they said, I want to be famous. I never cared about the fame. I don't care if you know my name or not. If I'm comfortable in a nice house and I've got a nice car to drive and I'm okay, I don't care if you have no idea who I am at that point. Now Carol makes a good point. She says they need to feel important. Look at what I can do. Hence the reason he did the $7 million transfer, right? On Telegram. That's the thing. And I don't know. I grew up at a time where my friends and we didn't really care much about showing off. Mostly because we didn't have anything to show off.
No, I feel you. I understand. Like we didn't have the fancy pants growing up. We shopped at Shopko for our school clothes, but it's got to be it. They need to feel the importance, or I guess, is it hard? Is it hard to sit here and be like, I ripped off the U.S. government $46 million and nobody knows about it? Like nobody knows I was able to do this, and this is a way of doing it without doing it, and then it just caused you to get caught.
Now, Mark is making a good point, but I want to add on to what Mark is saying. Mark has said there's an incredible epidemic of narcissism today in society. I think a big part of of that is wanting everyone to know I'm okay. I believe insecurity is a huge issue as well. Now, Mark, let me say this too. If we think back, when did a lot of this start? And I'm not even looking for answers. I'm going to tell you. A lot of this started when social media became a really big thing. And I can tell you one platform that really did it. So Facebook kind of led the way, but Instagram, because Instagram was a visual first platform. And you can go back and you can look at I've actually done a little bit of this research. You can look at when Instagram really became popular, and then also look at the drugs that were prescribed for depression and anxiety. You can see a direct correlative spike in Instagram, social media, and drugs being prescribed for depression, anxiety, and things like that. You also had a culture that was created where we coddled people instead of punching them in the face. And okay, here's what I mean by that. And I'm not being overly dramatic. Think about when you were young. Everybody had a bully. Everybody had a bully that you had to fight. Oftentimes, after you fought the bully, one of two things happened. Either they left you alone fully, or sometimes you became friends. Now, it's to the point where you can't tell somebody when they do something crazy. You can't look at them and say, well, that was stupid. You
Yeah.
have to spare their feelings. Now, I'm not saying just trounce over people's feelings, but clearly we have people doing really stupid stuff, and you can't say that was stupid. If I did something stupid as a kid, my friend would be able to look at me and say that was stupid.
I tell my kids if they do something stupid.
That probably means you're a good parent then, right? I'm just saying, think about it though.
I don't know. You'll have to ask them. We'll look back in 10 years and see if they're in the news for anything. And then we can judge my parenting style.
Look, Mark said, yeah, social media very much has affected that. And then he also says, isn't that incredibly sad? I think I will go sit myself in a safe room now.
No, I had this conversation with somebody not that long ago that I don't necessarily think social media and everything else is wrong or not good. I just think as a society we weren't in a place that was ready for it yet. Like our technology advanced so much faster than our emotional capabilities and ability to treat people with respect. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going off on one of my other tangents, but just teaching people or treating people with respect and everything else that we didn't get there fast enough, as fast as technology did. And now we're paying for it.
You know, I'll take an opposite take on that. I think that we allowed people to purposefully suppress what we knew to be right. Okay, and here's what I mean by that. Think about what we went through over the last 5 to 7 years. We've gone through so much unnecessary crap where people were banned from social media platforms just for having an opinion. You know, if you said the wrong thing, you got banned. If you did the wrong thing at school, we were suppressed in having free thought, freedom of speech, things like that. And that only worsened this situation. But a lot of it started, even go back a little bit further than that. Remember when we started giving people participation trophies just for showing up? Like, how does that even work? You don't get a trophy for showing up. You get a trophy for winning. You get a trophy for being better than everybody else that was on the field, not for just showing your butt up and sitting down and doing nothing. So that was kind of the start of it. And then you had this culture of I got to show everybody everything that I have, even if I don't have it, because now I can fake it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Roger says in the Garden of Eden, they had everything and still went for the apple. I don't think it's Instagram, it's human nature. Totally agree with that. Mark agrees with Roger too, but let me say this too though, Roger. I 100% agree with you. And I also believe that Instagram was the new catalyst though, because you have to have a catalyst. Think about it. In the Garden of Eden, the serpent, was the catalyst. And so for this new generation, social media was the catalyst that kind of dug into that human nature and brought it out. So completely agree with you. Mark agrees with Roger too. He says, Roger, you are right, but it is an easy mechanism to waddle in the wrong direction. Okay, yeah. That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, now we're there. Yeah. Roger says, definitely, Mark, technology accelerates the best and the worst of human nature. Yep. That's kind of what I was saying. And that's why governance. Thank you. Roger, you need to just come on with us one day. Come on the show, because this is where I was going with it. And I'm reading the comments and you walked right into what I was thinking. Yeah. It's 100% it. Because, okay, take it all the way back again, back to Roger's initial point. In the Garden of Eden, Adam was supposed to be the governance structure. Adam failed humanity. And so that governance structure just broke because Adam failed.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it right there. Not trying to get into a religious discussion, but I mean, just look at it. None of this stuff.
Right. We can't act like humans. You never know who's got a camera rolling or doesn't like the one thing that you do, and then you're getting blasted on social media.
Yeah.
Because I saw a video of it the other day of somebody being like, this woman's mean mugging me because my child's crying on an airplane. And everybody's like, but then why are, like, she ain't doing anything wrong. She's sitting in her seat and she's giving you glares. Look the other way. Like, yeah, let her be upset. She ain't yelling at you. She ain't screaming at you. She's sitting there and is upset that your baby's crying, but it's not like she's saying anything.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think we've lost compassion for our fellow man. And that part saddens me. Yeah, that part saddens me
You said it.
big time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, Mark. So Mark said, yeah, we wouldn't need governance if we didn't have a sinful nature that caused a lack of integrity and ethics. Yeah. Yeah. So
And then we'd be out of jobs. We wouldn't have the podcast. Thank you, Adam.
well, yeah.
Can't forget, Eve did her part too. So
well, yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this one last part, and then I'm gonna let it go. But okay, you said thank you, Adam. You said Eve did her part. For anybody who's a theologian, I am not. But what I want you to do is go back and just read. And if you read, the account of the story, Eve ate the apple or the fruit. Nothing happened. Adam ate the fruit. Something happened. Why? Because he was the gatekeeper. He was the governance structure. If he had said, no, don't do that, that's wrong. This is just my speculation now. I don't think anything would have happened. But because the head of everything failed to do his job, that's when all hell broke loose. Wink, wink, so to speak. Just go back and open your Bible up and just read the first chapter, and you'll see that what I'm saying is true. After Eve, nothing happened. Look, Roger says we need jobs.
yeah, we do.
Oh, and Mark is saying he always says that he'll always have a job as long as sin is present.
I mean, I kind of it would be awesome if somebody could interview this Zach XBT, the guy that pretty much turned him in. Like, I want to know what he's thinking. Like, you just uncovered $46 million that was taken from the U.S. government.
Well, and my speculation is too that Zach is not a one person; it's a group, kind of like Anonymous, where they just go and write,
okay.
Yeah, where they right wrongs, they try to do good.
They're the Robin Hoods.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because because if you think about it, a lot of nefarious things can happen on the blockchain. And if it's their mission to find these things, then I would want to stay anonymous.
So talking about like sleuths and stuff on the internet, have you ever watched the documentary Don't F with Cats?
No.
On Netflix? It's good.
No. Wait a minute. Don't F with who?
Cats. C-A-T-S.
Oh.
Put the F and then the asterisk after it.
I see. Hunting an Internet Killer. I'll have to watch that. I have to put that on my list.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. Doesn't have to do with money, but the power of people and their capabilities of coming together to do what's right.
I always believe that there is hope for humanity and we will turn back around at some point. Will I be alive when we do it is the question, though.
Well, talk to my husband about this. Think about how much we've changed as a society just in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, like, I know some people are like, oh, that was so long ago. My grandfather is celebrating his 95th birthday today. So he's told me stories of how things used to be with him growing up. Because, I mean, in all actuality, he was born towards the end of the Great Depression.
Yep.
So in all actuality, it wasn't that long ago. Like, we've come so far in such a short amount of time. Hopefully.
Yeah, we have. It is amazing. All right, so if you are just joining us, you just missed it. You got to press rewind and go back, because this one involved crypto. It involved Telegram, the Telegram app. It involved the U.S. Marshals. It involved $46 million. A whole lot of money is missing.
Start doing, parking lot checks on your kids to make sure they're not stealing crypto.
Oh, speaking of that, this is what I'm wondering. Did he just run away from home? Because how did you get stacks of cash? I didn't see where he bought anything lavish with it. So maybe he was just saving the money and planning to run away from home. Because,
He could be, but then like I sit here and go, I do think it's in the change of good, Mark, or at least I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed.
At 25. So I'm guessing he probably came from a pretty decent or well-off family initially, right? So
Yeah.
I think as far as he being a 25-year-old, like, let's say an example is my 20-year-old still lives with us, right? He works hard. He works a full-time job. He ain't making a whole lot of money. But would it be abnormal if all of a sudden he came home one day and said, hey, FYI, I'm moving out and getting an apartment? That wouldn't be abnormal to me. Does it mean I'd find out about something right away? No, but I would think eventually.
But what if he told you that he was just going to the Cayman Islands for a little while? That would be...
It would be. I'd probably ask who he's going with, because he doesn't know anybody there. Yeah, no, it would be weird. But we've also told our kids, like, after high school, take a year off and go backpacking through Europe. You'll probably learn more there than what you could ever do in the 4 years you were in high school. You'll be exposed to so much more.
Yeah. And it's true. Well, all right. So that ends this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. We're here every Friday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Adjust for your own time zone. And I think we got everything this week, on this one. This was crazy.
Yeah. So don't be fanning your money. That's what we learned. Don't be fanning your money.
Right.
Don't be trading your crypto live on whatever platforms they do that on. And don't steal crypto from the U.S. Marshals. Don't steal, kids.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.